And Perry Bacon, an NBC News political analyst, and Matt Schlapp, American Conservative Union chairman and former White House political director for President George W. Bush. Perry, is Trump attacking Megyn Kelly going to hurt him in the long run?
You know, his comments are deplorable. I think I want to add into that. I mean, the bimbo notion, he needs to really stop saying that. Is it going to hurt him in the short term? No. He's getting a lot of media attention. He's leading in the polls. But if you notice, he's not Hillary Clinton in terms of Hillary Clinton's in the 50s and the 60s in these polls. Trump is in the 30s. So it's not as if, my suspicion is it gets to be a one-on race between Trump and somebody else. Somebody else will benefit from the fact that Trump has been saying these things about Latinos, women, African Americans, the president. These comments are not going to help him win the nomination overall, even if he's leading in the silly season, as Lindsey Graham described it.
You know, Matt, are Republicans embarrassed that Trump is engaging in what has been perceived as xenophobic and sexist and in some cases misogynistic behavior? How does this contradict the notion of the Republicans after the autopsy said that you got to broaden your base and, you know, get more people under the tent? How does this pan out toward that goal?
Look, I'm not so sure I agree with your characterizations of what he said. I don't want to go into everything, every tweet and every retweet and what he said and what somebody else said. But look, here's the problem that's going on, both on the Democratic side and certainly on the Republican side with Donald Trump. What the consultant class and the D.C. class thinks in D.C. is wildly different from what activists and grassroots supporters across the country think. He is resonating with grassroots conservatives, independents, people who tend to be less partisan, and Republicans out there in the country. But people who do politics for a profession and a living, they don't understand any of this.
But Matt, does that really answer the question in this sense? We're not talking about what the perception is. We're talking about whether or not calling people names or engaging in the kind of behavior he's engaging in. We're not asking whether it's effective, because appeals to certain classes and segments of the population. We're asking, is it something appropriate? Yes, right.
Your question was, are people embarrassed? Right. And I think people inside the Beltway, people in the Republican political class are. But I think there are a lot of Americans across the country who are not. They feel like he's telling truth to power. And the fact is this: he walks a very fine line between being somebody who's honest and truthful and unscripted, and he tends to wander over that line sometimes and can use language that could hurt him in the long run. So I trust him to mind his own P's and Q's on these things. But there's no question he walks the line. I think he knows it. It served him well over a couple of decades being in the media.
Perry, when we talk about notions of political correctness, it seems that usually they occur when members of a dominant group make comments about other minorities and then expect to be exempt from any rigorous criticism or questioning about them, whether it's about gender or race or sexual orientation and the like. How long will that continue to be a sellable point or something that can be used to defend what others find reprehensible and offensive?
I think you're seeing, the fact that Roger Ailes and then host on Fox News today condemned his remarks and said they did not agree with them. I think you're seeing a sign of that, because Fox News often says the rest of the world is being politically correct. We're here to be fair and balanced and what have you. I think the fact that people on Fox and the head of Fox felt the need to defend Megyn Kelly and suggest Mr. Trump's remarks are inappropriate is a sign of something. At the same time, remember, Donald Trump 4 years ago was saying the president of the United States wasn't born here. So we know he engages in what I would call direct falsehoods and seems able to keep recovering from them. So he endures in politics in a way, I'll be honest, I don't totally understand, because his remarks, like you say, I think go beyond political incorrect to being deplorable at times.
Look, the reason why you don't understand is because most of America does not view his comments as being misogynistic or racist. What they view are his comments of taking on the media and taking on people who run political parties, taking on the people who have run past nominating processes at the Republican National Committee. That is what he is doing. He is taking these people on. I think it's unfair and unjust to all of a sudden turn and say that he's racist and hates women and all that. That's too simple. It's too glib. Right. It doesn't get at what he's doing, and I think it doesn't serve the purpose here.
But Matt, when the majority of African-American people felt that when he went after Obama on the birther issue, that it was directly related to the issue of race, what people are you referring to, the majority of which has believed in him?
Look, how are we ever going to have a discussion on the real issues that face this country if every time someone criticizes Barack Obama, it becomes a question of race?
No, it wasn't a mere criticism. It was a doubt whether or not he was born in America. It wasn't a legitimate criticism of the president, which can be made.
Fair enough. Look, I don't think that was a fair criticism to be made of the president.
Right, that's all. We're referring to that in particular.
If Republicans are going to be taking on Hillary Clinton, I don't know if she's going to get there, but if she's the nominee of the party, every time people attack her, it can't turn into an attack on women.
I don't think it would be. I think only when it's sexist will it be attacked.
All right, fair enough. Let's have those be the ground rules.
Right, exactly right. I agree with that absolutely. But the problem is that when people who are victimized, say if they happen to be minority people, African American, Latino, or women, when they make it, let me finish. When they make an argument about that, it seems to me that it certainly has to be balanced in terms of your legitimate point about, look, everything that's critical of the president can't be racist. Everything critical of Clinton can be said to be sexist. But we have to also pay attention to the ways in which the members of those communities, women and minorities, have indicated some concern about those comments.
Let me tell you how far I go along with you on this. I think that we have legitimate differences, left versus right, on the policy needed to fix the problems in this country. I think it would be wise for whoever gets this Republican nomination to hit those issues square on, even when they are politically incorrect and tough to hear. But I think our language should be respectful and inviting, because if Republicans don't expand their coalition, that includes more independent-minded people who Donald Trump reaches out to, but also people who of different races and different ethnic backgrounds. If we don't expand our coalition, we won't win. And by the way, losing sucks because you get no picks to the Supreme Court ever when you lose. I want to get those picks to the Supreme Court, and I want Republicans to be successful.
A redefinition of political correctness might be the way to begin that as well, but we'll see. Perry Bacon and Matt Schlapp, thank you so very much.